Hello everyone, I just wanted to walk you through these projects so that when you get to the class you're ready to go. This first card, you're going to be embossing this back folder and die cutting your circles and your bows. So usually our embossing folders, this is the cable knit sweater folder, and usually when you emboss, you would put your folder between two plastic plates for your big shot, but because this is such a thick one, you only use one plastic plate on top. And so here is the big shot. My screen is not very big, but when you have these big folders also, to avoid breaking them, the 6x6, you want to put the back edge inside your machine first, the folded edge, and then you just crank that through your machine. Put that out of the way, and that gives you your cable knit background, and you'll use that on another card also. And then this little string here, before you attach this to the bigger card, you'll want to tape this piece on the back and then tape it down on the front. You can cut some off, and that tape will get hidden underneath the greeting. And then to get your greeting, instead of embossing, you'll be using the Big Shot to die cut. And just to show you how to lay it on here, you'll lay all three pieces. See if I can get this out of the way so you can see everything. You'll lay all three pieces. I'm trying to find my things that cut this out. There they are. And you'll do the white on one, gold on one, and then there's two bows that I don't seem to have down here right now. Let's see. There they are. These are from the Christmas Pines die cuts. So you'll put those there and you'll run it through the Big Shot and cut those pieces out. And then when you go to stamp your greeting, just make sure you do it at the bottom so that you have room at the top to put your bows. And I just put the two bows right on top of each other with a glue dot. Now these little dots here are very tiny. Out of your scrap that you die cut, you will, I'm trying to find my, there it is, you'll hole punch however many you want, and you just do a few, and then you open up this little thing and dump your dots out. And yes, they are really tiny. And let's see, I wanted to stick one on. How you're going to stick these on is just put a little tiny dot of glue. We'll just stick an extra one here. Okay, that's too much glue for how tiny these are. I should have done it smaller, but I didn't. Now, picking these up can be a problem. I brought tweezers, but I don't even know if that'll help, to be honest. I just messed with it with my fingers. You can just not do this part. It's obviously taking too long. I think fingernails might be best, and you just plop it on there. You could use those to push it down. But that's how you get your little red dots on there. And then these pieces, I'm just going to ask everyone not to use any more than 3 because this is all I have, and I have like 23 cards being made, and there's exactly enough for everyone to have 3. And the sample has 2 circles and a heart, but everyone may not be able to have that because it's just, there's not enough circles. So you might have 2 stars and a heart or 2 circles, but that's this card. And then you'll puff the whole, you'll put the whole layer, dimensionals like 4, underneath your circle to add it to your card. Tape your background to a bigger card, and then on the inside you can just put a blank paper, or you can stamp a couple green things and put some washi tape along the bottom to give it more color. So that's your first card. Your second one, well, whichever order you go in, Peace on Earth. want to show you how to get the two colors. You could do that with marker, but it takes longer. So we're going to do with ink pads, which you might end up running some of your ink pad colors together, but we're just going to take that chance. So I have Old Olive, which I'm going to stamp on the top half, and I just kind of look at it to line it up about halfway there and press it down. That's the piece. And then I come with the red and try to line it about halfway, and it's going to overlap a little. I might get a little green on my red, but I would do the green first and then the red because the red's more potent. And then you'll try to center it as best as you can on this little square I give you so that your circle will fit. And that's how you get your colors. And you can see I got a little red on my E, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. That is also what I ask you to remember, not perfect. And then when you go to die cut this on your plate, here's all the pieces you're going to want to do at once. So you do your circle with the stitched framelits around it. That's going to give you that nice little stitch look there. And then you'll do these trees at the same time. I mean, you don't have to, but that will make the most use out of your die cut if you can do more than one at a time. So you have your 3 trees, your piece on earth, and then you'll stamp this little deer and cut that out at the same time. Layer that there. And I think I'm actually going to run this through really quick so I can show you something. Hold on, I'm coming back because it doesn't fit in the camera. You can look at the card while I run this through my machine. You can hear it cutting here. I just wanted to show with the stitch framelits to get it to come out nicely. You don't want to just poke it because it kind of bends. You kind of want to go around the edge with your finger to get it out nicely. So, and then you'll just put dimensionals on the back of that. The main thing you want to make sure is that your dimensionals aren't going to touch where this glimmer paper is because they don't stick very well. So you'll put your background paper down, your DSP, then your 3 trees that you just cut out, then your gold strip, then you put that on with dimensionals, and your little reindeer you'll add with these little tiny dimensionals. You'll pop it up with that. And then you can tie a bow with the cobbler twine and just stick it on with a glue dot. And if you want to see more of the gold ribbon, then you can stick, or gold strip, you can stick your bow over here instead of on the paper. So that is that one. Next, we have this pine cone card, which I just love this set. And you'll want, I'm going to show you, it's kind of hard to see how the green has a little bit of a double layer, but we're just going to use one stamp to get that. So first, you'll stamp your Sahara Sand stars everywhere, and you can see I got ink, which is hard to avoid, but generally when you're stamping your ink, try not to mash too hard, especially if they're gushy. Just try to tap. I didn't do great with that. And then when you get to your paper, actually hold it for just a second to give the ink a chance to really absorb. And you can see how I go in order. And you fill your background, and then when you do the green part, you're going to double stamp it to just get the 2 colors. So I stamped once, and then I just lifted and shifted slightly and stamped to the side. And it looks like on my sample I did maybe more than that, more than one. So you can come in and do more if you want it. So there's just some greenery. And that's all the stamping for that part of the card. And again, the Big Shot is getting used a lot. And I'm hoping tonight to pre-cut some of this stuff for you just to save time since we have such a big group coming. But on your plate with this one, you're going to have your 2 circles, and then these are for your pine cones. And there's 2 different tops you can have on it, so I would do 2 at once. The bottom pine cone, you'll actually have to run it through twice to get those pine cones out. So you lay those on, and I just realized I need to show you something with this as well. So I'll make you wait for a second again, give you a card to look at while I crank this through. And what I wanted to show you was how to put your pine cone together. So you'll have to get, I did the wrong one, I just realized. So that's good to know, so I can get the right ones out for you. Okay, this, my little pieces didn't come out very well, so you might want to crank it a few times so all those little pieces will come out. But what I was going to show you is once you get them out, and you just have to stick a little bit of glue around to the edges or little parts in between. That's the tricky part, is gluing these on. You'll glue it onto your darker color so you have light on top with dark coming through, and then you'll take a sponge and dip it in your ink and just sponge. I haven't dipped it in my ink, so this is old ink, it's not really working. But you'll just come along and sponge it to give it that sort of burnished look that it has. And then you stick those on with glue dots, but I have dimensionals popping this whole thing up. Don't use 2 strings of baker's twine, tie them in a bow, and add with a glue dot. And I did not put anything on the inside of this card. I will have some inside greetings out if people want to add them. Okay, let's get to our last video. Our last card, this adorable gingerbread card, and there's 2 versions. If you want to make it as quick and easy as possible, you'll do this version without the ribbon. And if you do that version, then before you run the Crumb Crate cardstock through the Big Shot to get your sweater, you stamp your greeting first, wishing you a sweet season, and then run it through the Big Shot. Otherwise, you just run your card through the Big Shot first, and then to do that top, you'll take your ribbon, tie it in a knot, and I don't have just that piece out, but pretend this is the front of the card. Before you attach the brown to the white, you'll wrap this around and tape it on the back. And then because the ribbon takes up so much space, it's going to stick best. I forgot to peel the back off that dimensional. That's why it's not sticking. But it will stick best if you just put dimensionals in each of the corners to attach it to your card. So that's your bottom layer. And then your gingerbread men, there will be some strips of paper out. And because of the way, this is the bold image on the photopolymer stamps, and to really get them to show up well, you will want this piercing mat underneath. So go ahead and you stamp your gingerbread man, and you can do 2 at once, but leave some space in between because of the way the die cut is, and I will show you what I mean by that. Hopefully I left enough space. Stamp your 2 gingerbread men, and then you come in and punch. See all these little pieces? You don't want them to run into the other one stamped. And those will just be going in the trash. We don't need them right now. So there's your 2 gingerbread men. And the bow and the heart also come out of this punch, but I already punched those for you, so you don't have to worry about fitting that in. You'll just pull them out of these little containers, the heart and the bow. And the heart is another one of those little tiny pieces. You use just a little bit of glue to try to get on. And then the mitten is actually from this retired designer paper from last year, but you will just cut a mitten out. And again, I only have enough for everyone to cut one mitten out for your card. So cut a mitten out, you pop that up on dimensionals. Your tray, I just realized I don't have that punch down here. So I'll just tell you how it works. There is a tag builder punch, scalloped tag topper punch, and you'll put it in one end, press, and it will give you this little design, and then you put that in the other and press, and it gives you that design. This is already scored, so once you've punched it, you just fold it towards you on the first score line. It's a really tiny, it's only 1/8 of an inch apart, so it's kind of hard to get it. But then you'll fold that back, and it will be shorter because you punched off part of it. And that gives you your tray that you'll stick down on your card, and then your 2 gingerbread men. And after I made this first card, I thought it would look better if I popped this